Hello everyone. Hope that everyone can hear me. And yeah, sorry for the little delay. We had kind of last minute discussions on how do we want to proceed. But yeah, welcome to the second event for the Microsoft Baltic developer community. What? You can't hear me? Seriously? Okay, I'll need a little bit more water in that case. Yeah, this little presentation workshop is intended to give a little bit of introduction for Azure DevOps. Um, yeah, basically we want to explain a little bit about those principles, and at the same time also give you um, a practical hands-on experience working with Azure DevOps tools. So yeah, before we begin, my name is Artur Skovalenko. I'm lead DevOps engineer at Emergent. I have background in electronics and business psychology, and I'm also one of the co-founders of a resource called DevOps.lv. So yeah, we have a group in Latvia dedicated to DevOps, and yeah, I'm also one of the core organizers of the DevOps Days Riga. So regarding agenda, kind of this is the stuff that we will be today looking at. So we'll take a few moments to check up on DevOps, on what is DevOps and what's infrastructure as a code. Couple words about Azure DevTest Labs. Yeah, and quite a lot of words about Azure DevOps Service. So, question to the audience: how many of you have already used Azure? Okay. And how many of you have used Azure DevOps? Okay, not that much. Great. I can tell whatever I want, and no one will know. So, kind of typical question when we actually always start talking about DevOps is, what is DevOps? To put it kind of very simply, DevOps is a set of practices that kind of combine development and operations, but at the same time, DevOps also encompasses quite a lot from quality assurance and in recent times also security, and hence DevSecOps, for example. Of course, technically, there's no such thing as a DevOps engineer. Pretty much that's the classical talk that you'll hear on every DevOps conference. At the same time, for some reason, each year in DevOps Days Riga or DevOps Unicorns, we have about 300 DevOps engineers. I know. Don't really understand that. Yeah. So, how many of you have had some experience with DevOps? I know, maybe even working as DevOps. Okay. And how many of these tools do you know? So, who knows about 50%? Okay, now you're just being a show off. 10%? Okay. So yeah, in DevOps we have quite a lot of tools. So pretty much to get to our end goal, to have continuous planning, building, continuous integration and deployment, to continuously deploy and operate everything, we need a lot of tools. And yeah, I guess no one can really know all of them, which kind of leads us back to the original question of DevOps engineers and the fact that yeah, we need specialization. We need people who are more or less working on on these tools. So then again, the next question: what is Azure, or what is Microsoft Azure? Because if you try to just Google define Azure, you'll probably find some definition of bluish stuff. But yeah, Microsoft Azure, it's a cloud computing service that Microsoft is offering, and it offers quite a lot of various cool stuff. Um, to be honest, if we talk about clouds, then from proper ones, you can only name a few. That's basically Microsoft Azure and AWS. Others in terms of functionality are still kind of way behind. So, yeah, I'm going to read a lot of that. Yeah, typical question again. Why is something better than that? In our case, why is Azure Cloud better than, for example, AWS or Google? I don't know. So anyone coming from AWS background or Google Cloud? Okay, you're really a show off. Yeah. So pretty much Azure's main competitive advantage, or for example AWS, is that it has the enterprise agreement advantage, which basically means that, for example, if you're already using Microsoft tools, it's kind of advantages. You kind of can get some advantages, can get a little bit better prices by also using Azure. And yeah, it also has integrated environments. It pretty much has everything that you might need in your development life. Yeah, so far haven't had haven't found any kind of things that that weren't available there. Also, Azure is the only one that has proper CI/CD pipelines and repositories that that actually work. Yes, AWS also has them, but at the same time, the implementation is kind of terrible. You cannot really use it. And yeah, also hybrid solutions for seamless cloud connectivity and superb integration with Active Directory. And yeah, if what?
Guys, background, don't hear you, so we need to put another mic. Those who are online hearing you, but those back. Just leave it. Just leave it and put, yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so
Let's try.
apparently I need a second microphone.
We are just taking care of your voice.
It's that bad?
No, just make sure that at the end of the day you still can speak.
Okay. Oh, yeah, this is kind of cool. So for those who cannot actually see me, I'm hooked up to two microphones, and I feel kind of interesting. Yes. I kind of start to understand why people are fearing 5G. Okay, so to continue, one of the biggest advantages also for Azure is that it has less of conflict of interest. So, for example, imagine you're currently working with some client who has a brick and mortar store, and he says that he wants to go to the cloud, and you're offering him Amazon. Basically, you're offering him to use his competitor's services. Yeah, better offer him Azure. And yeah, there's one more kind of thing. A lot of people mention that Azure is simpler to use than, for example, AWS. It's easier, blah blah blah. This is something that some might agree, some might not. I'm still missing the functionality of opening something in a new tab. But yeah, that's me. So moving on. Yeah, I'm kind of going at a rapid pace currently. So we also need to talk about a thing called infrastructure as a code. So who knows, oh, not knows, but who have been using actively infrastructure as a code? No. So, any hands? Just one, two, three. What? It depends. It depends. Well, at least that was not a question. Does making changes on live server count as continuous deployment? So, infrastructure as a code. This is basically the process of managing or provisioning computer data centers through machine-readable definition files, rather than using physical hardware configuration and various interactive terminals. And infrastructure as a code can be applied to the entire IT landscape, but it is especially critical for cloud computing, because yeah, without infrastructure as a code, I doubt that we could have DevOps, at least proper DevOps implementation. Yeah, advantages. It helps to reduce shadow IT when people cannot get some hardware from the IT administration, so they start building their own servers under their desks. It of course improves customer satisfaction because everything you can get everything a lot faster. As usual, OPEX and CAPEX reduction, and standardize and safer change management. So there isn't a guy who's going to the servers and manually making some changes there and hoping that everything will work. And yeah, it also allows us to apply software delivery principles to our infrastructure. Basically, we can treat our infrastructure fully as part of the application. We can even have it in one repository if we wish to. And yeah, scaling immutable infrastructure would not be possible if we, again, would not have this infrastructure as a code. Then again, it also has some disadvantages and drawbacks. So there might be missing some proper planning, and a lot of times it requires new skills that not always are present at the company. One biggest issue is that there's also problem that might arouse is error replication, where, for example, we make some tiny bitsy error in our configuration or application, and this error might get propagated through all the servers and basically crash everything. Well, it's possible. And yeah, if you still have that guy who's going manually to the servers, fixing some stuff, in that case, you might end up also with configurational drift. That basically what's in the repository does not really match to what is on the physical server. And yeah, we have scaling. It's cool. At the same time, we can also come, or not really come, but find that there might be some accidental destruction as well. Because, well, this instance is not used. Okay, our scripts will just delete it. Who needs it, right? So yeah. And if we talk about Azure, what are the possibilities of doing infrastructure as code in Azure? In that case, we basically have three options. The first one, kind of classical approach, is the Azure Resource Manager templates. Basically, you create huge JSON files that define all your infrastructure, all your resources. Um, it's kind of semi-simple. If you write them manually, it's terrible. At the same time, Azure offers you ability to create your infrastructure via the graphical user interface, and then instead of just deploying it, you can create an automation template for that. Yeah. Another approach is by using Terraform. So Terraform, how many know that? Okay, excellent. More people. So yeah, Terraform is this cool little software from HashiCorp. Those who do not know, HashiCorp is that cool software company that every DevOps loves. They make a lot of nice DevOps tools, and Terraform is one of them. And Terraform allows us to create more or less universal infrastructure as a code in terms of it supports all cloud vendors. You still need to kind of use a little bit different syntax for each of them, but at least if you're using AWS and Azure, in that case, you only need to learn the Terraform language for that. And probably the simplest option how to actually do some infrastructure as a code is just to use the Azure CLI. It's short, it's kind of very simple, and yeah, it's relatively fast. Problem with the Terraform in Azure is that you still need some machine to run this code from, so you need to install Terraform or Azure CLI on your local computer. But the ARM templates, they can be deployed pretty much from anywhere. I can just get the template, paste it in Azure, and that's it. It's deployed. Yeah, for those who have been working on AWS and like to actually write their code, their CloudFormation templates using Troposphere, there's also a cool thing called Ionosphere that you can use to write the same, basically the same Python templates for Azure. Yeah, you can see a little example how it looks. Well, it's a little bit better than JSON. And yeah, probably everyone would like to see a little bit a comparison between how Terraform and ARM template looks. So basically, okay, the long one, that's Azure Resource Manager template, and the short one, that's Terraform. So which is simpler? Let's say Terraform. Okay, so I guess before we continue, let's do some little practical things. So how many of you already have some Azure account? Okay, quite a lot. Can you use it for private purposes as well? Not really. Okay, in that case, I guess everyone who has their computers, let's just take them out and already start by creating a new Azure account. Theoretically, we might be able to do also with a free tier usage in terms that we can get. No. Ah. In terms that we could, it might not be needed to link your credit card to Azure, but you will get a lot more features if you actually do. And yeah, later on, we will also be distributing promo codes, but at least for now, that for now, let's just use private subscription. So I really need a bigger table here. Okay, I'll have a very warm water later on. So yeah, this is already configured, which means I kind of need to open private window. So yeah, those who are actually doing this, please don't be shy. Open portal.azure.com, enter your email address. Excellent question. Excellent question. So the Wi-Fi password, first of all, login. Wi-Fi login is WLAN01. So yeah, it's written here. That was very smart, I guess. Let's just do it like this. So can everyone see the password? Okay, I really hope that everyone had a chance to try and connect. So let's try to get back to this. So yeah, basically open portal.azure.com. It will redirect you slightly, and here you'll have a chance to present your email address. I really hope that Microsoft will not be spamming you quite a lot, so don't worry to use your own email address. Alternative option is to use a temp mail. So, and in my case, this will be a temp mail because I have already exhausted all my email addresses registering to this Azure. Just enter your email. What? I need to create a new one. Okay, so yeah, for little information. Instead of entering directly, just first of all, click on create a new account. Yeah, then you can enter your email address, click on next, and then you'll be prompted for a password. So, okay, this will be my password. Latvia, date of birth, what seems to be plausible. Close enough. Okay. You will be prompted to verify your email. So, I have a new email. No. Yes. Excellent. And yeah, I guess don't try to check this button. I guess you also have a CAPTCHA. Is that a P? Yeah, okay. Okay, excellent. Yeah, excellent. We have Azure subscription. So if you wish, you can click on Start Tour and check some features, or you can do this later. Yeah, in my case, it will be later. So yeah, some features, in this case, this is like super free option, will not be available to you. So you will not be able to create virtual machines. At the same time, a lot of practical stuff will be today with Azure DevOps, and lucky us, it's on under free tier usage.
I believe if you attach credit card, Azure will give $200 credit to spend on their services.
If you attach your credit card,
Yes. But you can set that you will not overcharge that limit and your card will not be charged.
okay. So anyone has spare change for my ride back? Okay, in that case, let's not use credit cards for now. Okay, so we have our Azure account. Cool. So did everyone had a chance or at least tried? Yeah, everyone's very silent and saying no. No, will not try to give Microsoft my money. Okay. Well, in that case, at least for now, we can continue. Yeah, as I said, I will touch a little bit about Azure DevTest Labs, which is kind of very cool feature that's currently available in Azure, and that basically allows you to provision virtual environments within virtual environments, kind of inception-y things. Well, basically, it allows you to create development and test environments where users can almost run freely. Basically, you can create there some virtual machines, give access to your developers, and developers then there can go open this DevTest Lab, see, oh, I see that there are 3 machines. Okay, I can use this one, play around with it, and for example, in some time it will get destroyed or shut down to minimize costs. Yeah, I also said that basically you can have your developers run freely there. Well, kind of yes and no, because you can set some limitations there. For example, that developers can only access already created machines, or for example, that they can create only specified kind of specified images of machines. So yeah, it also allows you to create some golden images for virtual machines that everyone can use. So yeah, kind of cool feature. But sometimes useful, especially if you have a lot of developers. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm going a little bit faster than I initially thought. So, Azure DevOps Service. Yeah. Basically, I already told that Azure is the only environment that has kind of this functionality. It's the only one that where kind of DevOps service is actually usable. So, for example, in AVS, yeah, you have also alternatives there, but to actually clone a repository, it's a nightmare. You need to do it with a key. You need to provide your retina scan. You need to provide a blood sample, and only then AVS allows you to clone. That's not the case with Azure DevOps. It's super easy, and it also has quite a lot of features. First of all, it has Azure boards, basically Kanban board, sprint planning, so you can do everything related to planning just in Azure. Yeah, as I already mentioned, there's also Azure repositories, which are basically Git repositories, and you can get unlimited cloud-hosted private Git repositories there to collaborate with your peers or just to store some, I don't know, pet projects. Also, Azure Pipelines, the main CI CD tool, kind of very simple to use, supports again a few nifty features, is compatible with Azure repos and also GitHub, and you can pretty much connect any Git repository there as well. These three I'm intended to cover a little bit more deeply today. Azure test plans, Azure artifacts. I'll just put them that they are there. They're usable, but at least in the scope of today's presentation, of today's workshop, not really sure if we need to discuss it a little bit more in detail. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, cool feature is that this Azure DevOps is free, and if you're a new startup, if you're a small company that's just started working and basically having this CI CD stack, you can get this stack up and running in like 30 minutes or so. You can have basically proper planning, collaboration toolkit in 30 minutes. That's crazy. And well, of course, it doesn't provide all the features that, for example, provides the Atlassian stack, like, but considering the price, it's cool. Okay, so, and the idea is that here we would have, again, a little bit more practical stuff to do. So those who have actually created their Azure accounts, now we have the option to also create our own Azure DevOps service. So yeah, pretty much very simple instructions. Search for Azure DevOps in the Azure DevOps, in the Azure. Click on My Azure DevOps Organizations and create new organization. So how does it look? Where is this? I guess this is the right one. So yeah, basically open Azure, find Azure DevOps. Excellent. Click on My Azure DevOps Organizations. I really hope that you can see everything, especially people in the back. Yeah, hi. And here we have a chance to actually create our own organization. So, big blue button, press it. No. Enter name of your organization. This will probably be taken. Yep. Okay, let's use West Europe. So, by the way, has anyone already had a chance to read Unicorn Project? Prize to the person who actually knows what's Unicorn Project. What is it? Okay, you get a prize. Yeah. So we actually have prizes. So if I say something crazy like you get a prize, you can actually get a prize. So, congrats. Yeah, this goes there. Okay, let's click on continue. And this will take us to our Azure DevOps organization page. It's taking us. Cool. And now we can create a new project. Need ideas, need ideas. Yeah, the most imaginative project I can think of. So let's make it a public one. And that's it. We have just set up our very first Azure DevOps project. And yeah, as you can see, I have a nice little overview. We also have a wiki here where we can publish something. I don't know how to set up our project. We have our boards, our repositories, pipelines, test plans, and also artifacts. So, yeah. Later on, you'll also need to be doing this for your own team because, yeah, we will be forming some teams, and then you'll probably actually need to have active Azure subscription. But yeah, don't worry, we also have some promo codes. Yeah. Okay. Hope this is the right button. Yeah. One more thing that we'll need to do later on is we will need to add more users to your Azure subscription or Azure DevOps. Because yeah, a team of one person is not the most effective team usually. So yeah, this will be a little bit later. Just basically the principles. Again, you'll need to open your DevOps Azure DevOps page. Click on Organization Settings, Users tab, and Add New Users. And there you'll have a chance to actually add I don't know, your teammates. Yeah.
So Azure DevOps is similar to GitLab repository because there is Terraform, board, pipeline.
Yes. Yes, that's completely correct, and that's why I was previously saying that also Atlassian stack. Basically, yeah, Azure DevOps is pretty much the same as GitLab or as Atlassian stack or anything else you can combine by creating something from free and commercial tools. Difference here is that, for example, to set up GitLab properly, it takes quite a while. If you need to set up all the other tools, it also takes quite a while. Atlassian stack, well, a little bit simpler, but still it takes time and also quite a lot of resources, especially if you have more than 10 people. This is kind of a superb solution because you can get it in like 30 minutes and even less. And it works. And you also have attached cloud environment to it. What else do you need? Well, of course, if you use Jenkins, it will be a little bit more powerful, but the learning curve is like. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, as I already said before, in Azure we also have Azure boards. Basically, that's integrated Kanban boards. that also have Sprint and Scrum. It also, of course, has backlog items. You can add details and estimates to your backlog items. And of course, even add, run, and update inline tests. It's pretty much kind of very basic thing. Maybe not the most like super cool thing, but at the same time, it's still better than Redmine that a lot of people still are using. So who's complaining? So yeah. I hope at least some of you had a chance to already start looking at your Azure accounts. Had a chance to actually create some organizations. So yeah, this is just a demo for those who still haven't made it that far. Yeah, you have pretty simple Kanban board. You can create new items. For example, present this presentation. That would be item for me. Yeah, drink water. That's very important. So if I'm drinking, then yeah, I can even move it to doing. Okay, issue resolved. You can also, of course, create some backlogs. And yeah, of course, as every board needs, you have a proper sprint planning tool. So you can create an epic. Where's new work item? No, I want epic. Okay, and backlog probably. Epic new work item. Just create an epic. Cool, we have an epic. And you can also create subtasks like you would normally do, for example, in Jira or other a little bit more complex issue management or work tracking software. Again, this is super fine for more or less small projects. Of course, if you need a little, if your team is like 100 people and more, in that case, yeah, you probably need a little bit more complex solutions. So that's about Azure boards in few sentences. But we also have quite a lot more cool stuff here, like Azure DevOps repos. Basically, version control system supports pull requests like any normal VCS, and it seemingly integrates. Oh, that's a typo. The Azure DevOps offering, but yeah. For example, for Azure pipelines, you can also use GitHub and pretty much any other Git that you can think of. So, okay. I really hope I don't need to use the slide. So, please raise your hand if you don't know what is Git. Okay. Who doesn't know? Yeah. Okay. Still some people. Have you used other version control systems like I don't know, CVS? What was it there also? SVN, Mercurial? No, not really. Okay. So yeah, for those who do not know, Git is version control tool used for managing source code. It allows you to track changes in code. For example, you started working on a project, and you got your colleague involved. So your colleague can also start working on this project. He can get your source code, and you can collaborate while basically working on the same code. And yeah. Later, once, for example, you're done working, you can commit your changes to the server, and yeah, these changes can also be then obtained by your colleague, for example. Advantages of Git, as well, yeah, besides the obvious, to manage your source code, is that you have branching and merging. At the same time, as far as I understand, other version control systems are having this as well. Yeah, having version control system means you have faster releases, built-in integration, and yeah, of course, pull merge requests. So, for example, you want to commit your changes, you want to say that's done, you can create a pull or merge request, and safely kind of put your code into, for example, master branch, and hopefully not break anything. Okay. Yeah. One thing to mention regarding using Azure repos are basically some tips regarding security. So, kind of very typical, never store credentials as code. So there's no such thing as credentials as code. It should not be a thing, at least. So if you have a password, never ever store it in code, in Git especially, in public Git. I know some people like to do that.
Azure Key Vault is the place for credentials.
Yeah, if you want to store your credentials, then for example, on Azure, you have Azure Key Vault. That's
what?
Azure Key Vault.
Key Vault.
Key, like atslaga, ключ.
Yeah.
Key Vault. Vault. Yeah. Well, at least if you don't want to manage your own service, and trust me, you don't. Of course, always when you make a commit, try to remove all the sensitive data, because, for example, in some cases, I've seen people, okay, I made a mistake, I put my credentials there, I'll just make a new commit. New commit means that you're just putting a new commit. Basically, your old data is still present there. So if anyone wants to check, they can still find your password. So in Azure repos also, there's a thing about security that you need to tightly control access, who actually has who can I don't know, make changes to your code, and for that purpose, you can generate their personal access tokens, basically username and password combination that you can use now. Okay, I think it might be compromised. Just click one button and you'll have a new access token. And yeah, kind of last two things, they're more like general. Basically, provide granular permissions and groups for users, so that every user should not have full privileges everywhere. Well, it's just not needed. And yeah, rotate SSH keys and personal access tokens, at least, well, sometimes. So that's on securities. Okay, let's take a look at how this looks like in the real world. So again, those who already have their Azure accounts, they can just go to repos and cool. My project is empty. I need to add some code there. So this is my Git URL, but I need Git credentials. So okay, let's just try cloning it first. Oh, I have cloned an empty repository. Okay, no commits yet. Let's try adding some file there, and I guess no one can see anything I'm doing there again. People in the back, can you see something? I mean, on the screen, can you see commands, something? A little bit more. Okay. I need to slightly adjust something. Okay. Oh, yeah. This is hopefully a little bit better. So yeah, let's create some demo file. Echo. Oh, cool. We have a new commit. Yay, we have one new file. Let's just add it to our repository. So git add, git commit message, my first commit, and git push. Oh, I need to provide a password. So this is the part that I was telling about previously regarding the access tokens. So you can go to your repository, click on button generate git credentials, and you will have your own personal access token or password that you can use to clone just this repository. And this access token will be available only to you. So yeah, next time I'll refresh this page, I will not be able to actually see this token anymore. So if I need to log in from somewhere else, I'll need to generate new keys. So nothing. Okay, so paste it in. Git push completed, and going back, refreshing. We have a new file, and it should contain. Yeah, it's still hello world. Bless you. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Not much to tell more, I guess, here. So, in your project, you can create also multiple repositories. For example, if you're building a little bit more complex project, then this is a thing that you'll need to do, probably. Yeah.
If you already have a repo, let's say on GitHub, is
Yeah.
there a way to just import that instead of duplicating? Is there a way to sync them up or something like that?
Well, for example, if you already have in GitHub and you want to connect it to Azure pipeline, in that case, you don't even need to import it. You can just connect it directly. Regarding pure import, apparently there is a way. At least I see here at the bottom, there is a button to import repository. Haven't really tried it, but could be working. Okay, so yeah, cloning repositories. This is the thing that we already did, at least with personal access token. So I guess here we come to the semi-interesting part. Okay, the most interesting part, the Azure pipelines. Yeah. Yeah, Azure Pipelines is the cloud service that you can use to automatically build, test, and publish your code and make it available to others. As far as I know, it works with pretty much any language and project type. Yeah, this Azure pipeline, it combines CI and both CDs, so you can have your code deployed continuously or at least delivered continuously. So yeah, if you use public projects, Azure pipeline is completely free. If you use private projects, in that case, you can run up to 1,800 minutes, which, well, basically 30 hours of pipeline jobs for every month. 30 hours per month for semi-small projects, that's fully enough. I think even on larger projects, that should be fully sufficient.
So every first day, is there the next 30 hours?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So 30 hours per month. So yeah. Okay, let's just stop using Jenkinses. Let's just deploy our own Azure DevOps pipelines. Before we actually continue, CI versus CD versus CD. This is kind of one of those DevOps topics that usually people love to talk about. Yeah, DevOps. Okay. So to put it simply, continuous integration, that means that you build and some way test your code. For example, the simplest test would be just some unit tests, just to see that what you have just committed, it will not break everything. Then we have the CDs. So we have continuous delivery and continuous deployment. Both of these topics are almost the same, with difference that in continuous delivery, you have a manual deployment to production or deployment somewhere, whereas in continuous deployment, everything is automated. So for example, you have a developer or you are a developer, you make a code, you commit your code to repository, it should automatically get tested. Various tests executed there. It should be deployed, for example, to staging environment, so that, for example, some person can even take a look at it, or to execute some other functional tests. Yeah, kind of side note. In continuous deployment, you still can have also manual tests. That's still okay. And yeah, kind of the end goal is that in production you would have only code or applications that you know that are fully working, so that there wouldn't be any problems. And yeah, of course, having some continuous delivery or deployment, it also makes life a lot easier for IT operations. And for example, you as developers, you also don't need to wait, I don't know, couple of months before your release actually gets deployed. Okay. Again, a little bit DevOps topics. What is a good CI/CD pipeline? This is kind of typical attributes for a good pipeline. It has to be fast. So no one wants to wait more, I don't know, 3 hours just to see how one simple change looks somewhere. Basically, pipeline should be fast. Ideally, no more than 10 minutes, but again, it depends on complexity of project. If you have some really complex projects and your pipeline is taking quite a long time, you should probably think about kind of splitting all these parts. Yeah, of course, it should also use the same processes and artifacts, so that, for example, if you have multiple pipelines, then all these pipelines should be constructed in more or less similar fashion. And you should also be able to deliver any version of your code at any time using your pipeline. So, I don't know, latest version didn't work. You found out that there was some critical bug. Okay, no problem. You should be able to revert to deploy a little bit earlier version, or maybe even the first one. If the customer said, you know what, let's scrap it. Let's do proper agile. I don't want this. I need I don't need hammer. I need pliers or grapefruit. Yeah, you can do that. You should be able to do that. And yeah, one more thing. It should have little manual work. Little manual interaction is allowed. For example, if you have continuous delivery, it's okay to have a prompt for users. Do you really wish to deploy this version to production? I don't know, maybe also some few parameters that you can change. But other than that, it shouldn't be that pipeline succeeds, then you take the code, do some more work, write complex configuration file, do more work, and then your pipeline is kind of considered as executed. Yeah, a few more tips. Don't fixate on tools. Use the tools that are the best for your current implementation, or tools that are readily available to you. So one more thing is to build all the branches, not just the master. So a lot of times, yeah, you might be tempted to build only master, but you know, developers want to see their own how their own commits also work. And like super top tip, pipelines should be matured slowly instead of creating a perfect one on the first try. You will have time to do this later on. At first, it has to be pretty basic so that you can just get your code up and running. Okay, yeah. I'll probably need more water. So, where to deploy? Again, another question. I know I like to ask a lot of questions. This is a little bit tough to answer because again, it all depends on the complexity of your project and how much resources, how much money you have to spend on everything. So, typical approach: deploy it on classical virtual machine or a physical server. Do you need it? Especially if your application is a small web app, well, you probably don't need a full virtual machine for that. Maybe sufficient is to deploy it as container on Azure Container Instance. So yeah, I have also added a couple of commands via Azure CLI how you can actually deploy your built application on Azure Container Instance. And this also includes creating the container instance resource.
And does the same as a virtual machine?
Sorry?
This container
the
same as a virtual machine?
Not really. Not really. It's basically just your container. Okay, then the question is, how familiar are you with containers in general?
A little.
A little bit. Okay.
Docker containers.
Yeah, Docker containers.
Yeah.
Pretty much containers are a little bit more higher abstraction of virtual machines. Kind of think it still contains everything that application needs to run except the operating system.
You can just make separate containers on Azure
Yeah.
without a virtual machine.
Yeah.
You can also make containers on a virtual machine.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, if you have one container, does it make sense for you to get a virtual machine?
Yeah.
Probably no. And then there's the question, maybe you don't even need a container. Maybe it's sufficient for you to deploy your application just as a function. Maybe it's simple, I don't know, just call a request, I don't know, call your application to see what is the current time. For that, you're probably fully sufficient with a simple Azure function. So serverless, the hot new topic currently.
Function is some kind of API.
So this is the serverless kind of territory. And how to explain this? Basically, well, if you have application, you need servers for it. So you can need to manage servers. Function gets rid of that, and you're just deploying code to someone else's machine. You don't care where it is. You don't care who is running it, how it's managed. And you get billed only for executions of your function. So it's not really API, but it can also be API. It can also you can also kind of make some web app or something like that via that. So don't try to fixate that it's only API. It can be whatever you need, but main thing to consider that it has to be semi-lightweight, because again, you're built for executions. And yeah, Azure also has one more kind of cool thing, Azure DevOps, which is kind of something something between function and having a container. Yeah, it offers auto scaling. You can have pretty much anything you want there. And if you're creating some minimum viable product, this is the fastest way that you can actually get it to market. So you still don't need to think about any infrastructure. You're just deploying your application, and that's it. For those who are older, you probably remember that there were shared web hostings where each user got their free space on some shared hosting. This is kind of similar to that. You can think, you can make some associations with that. So, okay. Continuing with Azure DevOps pipeline structure. But I think before that, let's take a little look on pipeline tab before. Oh, multi-stage pipelines. Cool. Maybe later. Thank you. So first of all, how many of you are using actively pipelines in your day-to-day work? GitLab. Yeah, for those who are using GitLab, Azure DevOps pipelines will be kind of very similar. How many of you are using Jenkins? Okay, not a lot. Azure DevOps pipelines will not be similar to you. Yeah. So yeah, currently we still don't have any pipeline. We'll change it a little bit later. So yeah, but before that, let's give a little bit of introduction. So structure. Each of the pipelines are made of stages. Stages are basically the major divisions of a pipeline. So those who are a little bit experienced working with Jenkins, these stages work pretty much the same way. So yeah, each stage would be represented as a block. Yeah, each stage may also contain one or more jobs, but jobs in this case are units of work assignable to a particular machine. So in Jenkins, that's already a little bit different. And jobs consist of linear series of steps that can be tasks, scripts, or references to external templates. So yeah, again, those who are using Jenkins, I'm a Jenkins fan, sorry. I like my Groovy. With Azure DevOps pipeline, we have a little bit misalignment on jobs. Oh, little, but okay. For smaller pipelines, not all of these levels are required. So for example, in single job build, you can omit the containers for stages and even jobs. Just have a couple of stages and that's it. Yeah, there are many options, and you also need to have good default settings. Okay, yeah, for those who actually want to check up later on, I have left a link where you can check some examples of how Azure pipelines have been implemented for various technologies. And yeah, slides will be shared later on. Don't worry about that. So, okay. Yeah, one thing to note is that previously you were able to configure your Azure pipelines using the graphical user interface. Nowadays, that still is possible, but that's kind of considered as a deprecated method. So, YAML, use that. YAML fans, YAML haters. So no one hates YAML? How many know what is YAML? Just to be clear. Okay.
YAML ain't markup language.
Yes, that's not a markup language. I'm a little bit shocked. Okay. I was hoping that everyone will say, "Yay, I love YAML. I love byte spaces." Okay. This basically means that I also.
After your introduction, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. This basically means that I also need to show kind of some examples of what is YAML. Do I actually have it? Yeah. Let's see. Does it here? Nope. Okay. Okay. This seems to be a little. Yeah. Okay. Let's hope this is working. Okay. For those who do not know, YAML basically is just this configuration file where you can specify your definition for various things. So it's pretty simple. It's easy to use. Basically, just value. Well, basically just name value pairs. Nothing too complex. But but you really need to keep track of your white spaces because that's how everything is separated there. Yeah, white spaces are terrible there. Okay, so getting back basically to YAML and Azure DevOps pipelines. First thing to know is that we have agents there. Agents basically is just some virtual machine or container where your pipeline, where your code will be executed in terms of well, where your code will be built, or maybe you will be executing some simple scripts there. Yeah. And yeah, one thing also to note is that you need at least one agent for your pipeline, at least one place where your code will be executed. Yeah. So yeah, I have actually added some examples for it. So the first two lines in YAML with white spaces show that we're taking from the pool one virtual machine, Ubuntu with version 16.04. I probably need to upgrade. And using that as an agent. Then in this example's case, we have very super easy build job with just a couple steps. So in this case, we're just executing two scripts. One is to export spam bash script, and the second one is to try did the export succeeded. So you can I hopefully you can read the definition. The biggest thing to note is that each step preserves configuration that is done to the agent, but environment variables are not preserved. So let's try for no, that was too much. So we can, for example, nope. We can try opening our Azure DevOps pipeline, create a sample new pipeline. Azure, where is your code? Okay, it's Azure repos git. Yes, but there's no code. Let's just do start a template. So yeah, basically it already offers me to use a simple starter template written in YAML, as I said. Okay, let's copy paste it in. And I think there will be problems with white spaces. Yeah. Now, what is this? Okay, yeah, there will be problems with white spaces. Lucky me. Let's try it differently. I think it will be easier. Okay, so I'll just copy paste. And let's echo spam. So super simple pipeline. 2 steps. Save and run. Yeah, each time you make a change to your pipeline, you will need to commit it. So the pipeline is treated as part of the code. So okay, demo pipeline commit directly to master branch. Okay, best approach. And
About the pipeline.
yeah.
Example of that, I can give variable
Yeah.
or dummy code, dummy value. Example like Java code, and I need something test, then I give
Uh,
is something.
so basically variables.
Yes, variable.
We'll get to that, but there is possibility to define variables as well.
Okay.
What? Okay, something didn't like export spam equals bacon. What? Okay, I'm pretty sure that's some formatting issue. Yeah, that's what you get when you actually try to do live coding. Okay, let's do it. Let's export that foo is typical bar, and let's echo our variable foo. And next time, just to show that steps don't inherit variables, let's do one more script. Echo foo. Save. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, come on, come on. And let's run it. So yeah, since this job does not, since this pipeline does not have many stages, we have this only this list of things that's happening. So yeah, the user interface might be a little bit more, or user design might be a little bit more appealing to the eye, but well, we're not complaining too much, I guess. So, and yeah, here we can see all the things that have been done. So the job has been prepared. Next task agent has been provisioned. Yeah, each time you're also running your pipeline, the code is automatically checked out. So git checkout is used. And yeah, here you can see our first script executed. It shows that foo equals bar. And in next step, if we try to execute, to again display the same parameter, we get nothing. So yeah, really sorry guys in the back, especially those who are sleeping. And yeah, that's pretty much it for a super simple pipeline. Okay, and what is it? Where is it? Okay, so we have done steps. So the next thing, variables. I saw that people already were interested in that. Yes, in pipelines you actually can have also variables. So you can just define variables and use them. I don't know. I guess not a lot to say during regarding this. Again, just for the sake of argument, we can again go back, click on edit. So variables foo equals bar. Why is it not saying why? I guess it wants lowercase. No? Yeah, sorry. I just changed the last one. So save, run. Yes, run. I said run. Please run. Okay, yeah, each time we run our pipeline, we need to wait a couple moments before agent is provisioned. but I guess that's not the biggest issue. So command line. Okay, some issues. Yeah.
Is this YAML 100% compatible with GitLab?
No.
Similar.
Well, similar, yes. I guess don't expect anything to be 100% compatible with something else.
50%.
Well, 50% I'd say yes. The characters are the same. But yeah, even the tools that say that they provide universal approach are not really universal. So everyone wants to try and create something a little bit differently. Yeah, I see my mistake. Okay, moving on. Yes.
But the variables,
Yeah.
are they like constant, meaning I cannot change them during the steps?
Well, that's actually a good question. Yeah. Well, theoretically, you should not be able to. Theoretically, practically, I don't know. I think you can find a way how to fix all the features.
Okay, we have to try it out later.
Yeah. Well, theoretically, they shouldn't. You shouldn't be able to do that. Theoretically, practically, well. Yeah, this is kind of interesting topic for what to try next. Okay. Yeah, as I previously already mentioned, we also have stages and jobs in the YAML, and so this is just a little bit more concrete example on how a job might look if you actually would define a stage. Yeah, not a lot to add, I guess. Yeah, one thing that I need to stress is that jobs can be run also conditionally, and they may depend on earlier jobs. So yeah, this is becoming a little bit more complicated. I at least for now, bear with me. Then I will show you some magic. I like IT magic. I don't do proper magic, unfortunately. So yeah, you also can have some expressions and conditions in your YAML pipeline. And if you're coming from Jenkins world, you know that you also have Groovy, like proper programming language. So having expressions and conditions in your pipeline is basically a must. Yeah, the following code sample it just shows sample condition that one job is executed always, but the other one only if the full job fails. Not a lot to add, I guess. Yeah, this is something that you might maybe need later on. Is also you have the ability to actually publish and download any artifact that you have created using the pipeline. And the cool thing is that you can also reference other pipelines and obtain artifacts from other pipelines as well. Okay. And if you're also building a little bit more complex projects, in that case, you can also use templates. Well, basically, this is especially cool feature if you need to test your code, for example, on Windows and Mac and Linux, and basically the steps to build are always the same, so you can put them in a file called, I don't know, some template file, steps build, blah blah blah, and then in your proper pipeline, you can just reference this, reference these steps. So kind of effective coding. And yeah, as people who are using Jenkins, they have plugins. There's a pretty much plugin for everything. You can do everything with a plugin. You don't need to manually write shell scripts. Azure DevOps has something similar. It's called a task, basically predefined steps that can do various cool stuff. For example, in this case, the example is that we can just install Node. So we don't need to manually write all this configuration. And yeah, you can take a look at this URL later on. It contains kind of a huge list of various tasks that are readily available for you to use in your pipelines. Okay, now let's try something a little bit more cooler, but I guess nope. Where was it? Yeah.
Can all these things, this free Azure account, this Azure account with all these free tier stuff, can I use them for commercial purpose? In other words, can I legally make money with these free to have services?
Is there anyone from Microsoft left? Because yeah, I can say why not.
That is not
But
a legal answer, but
yeah, that's the thing. I cannot give you legal advice. But there should be people from Microsoft. Well, maybe they can answer this question. Theoretically, maybe. Okay. So let's try something a little bit more cooler. And yeah, it's already been some time. Oh, so no, this is not the coolest part. Okay. So yeah, this is something I already previously talked about a little bit. We have various deployment options. We can create a virtual machine and deploy application there. In this case, I really doubt that you'll need this, at least for now. The slightly less classic way is if we go serverless. Yeah, it's the coolest buzzword currently, so let's just use it. Yeah, there are also options that we can deploy it as Azure Container Service or even manage Kubernetes service. Many people use Kubernetes now. Not really. Okay, that's one person. Okay, that's a little bit shocking. I kind of.
Probably most people use, but not many of them manage Kubernetes.
In that terms, yeah. But yeah, Docker is dead. So all hail containers, all hail the new containerization platforms. So yeah. Okay, now is the cool part. So I promised you a little bit of magic. And why I actually really like Azure DevOps pipelines is that they offer kind of this auto DevOps trademarked, not by Microsoft though, but trademarked, where basically your pipeline, well, your CI tool can help you in creating your pipeline. So basically, you don't really need to know all this YAML. You only need to be good at coding stuff. You can just code your work. You don't need to know everything, and we're not even making you know everything. So the bad news though is that this will be a little bit more practical thing. So well, that's too much. Yeah, that was too much. Okay, this will be a little bit more practical stuff. So yeah, that's a long. Okay, everyone who has their computers and also has their Git, let's try cloning, or more precisely, let's try importing this repository into our Azure DevOps repository. So again, wrong one. So nope. Pipelines, repos. So first of all, we need to create a new repository. In this case, import. Does not require authentication. This is a very simple Node.js application. So anyone wants to try and do this? I really see the very enthusiastic faces. Okay. So for those who actually want to try and do this, I'll make it a little bit bigger. So you have about 30 seconds to copy the URL. Well, manually copy, like zero copy. Bad news, I'm bad at timekeeping. So 34 seconds, 5 seconds. Okay. Okay. So let's try importing it. If you're still trying to copy this URL, this is your last chance to shout, hey, stop, no, 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 please don't. Okay. Import. It's on its way. Oh, it's successful. So excellent. Our super simple application is here. Sorry? How to clone it? Well, basically, the cloning part is a little bit different in terms that we were just importing it. So, yeah, we can open import, and import the Git repository and paste in the URL. Okay. Yeah, cool. We have our super simple JavaScript application. Okay, before we continue, we also need to run some commands in the shell. Yeah. Bad news is that if you haven't really added your credit card, then this will probably will not work on your Azure subscription, unfortunately. But again, slides, I will share the slides later on. So I don't know, maybe at home or when you're completely bored, you will have a chance to do this as well. So in our case, we will be trying to deploy this super simple application the kind of serverless way by using an app service. So one of the options how we can do this is just by using the Azure CLI. So basically via CLI, we can create the needed resources or for example, if I would open the Azure UI, so portalazure.com, we need a web app. So marketplace web app. This kind of typical approach, how you can actually get some services, some resources via Azure. Okay, I have already some more resource groups. Let's create one more resource group. Application name. How are we going to access this application? No, it's actually free. So we have code, runtime stack, some old node will do. Linux region, should do. Doesn't really matter in this case. Yeah, we don't want to use the premium. For us, B1, I guess that was the free option is fully sufficient for the pricing. Estimated. Oh wait, F1. That's free. That's completely free. Okay, let's use that. Click next. Do I want application insights? Sometimes this is a useful feature, but in this case, probably no. And yeah, one thing that you should really be doing every time you're deploying something to cloud is to try and tag your resources so that, for example, any other person will come, he can see that, for example, there's a tag created for, so that he knows that this resource is created for some particular thing, and you should also try to include your created by tag. So basically, in this case, that would be, I would add another tag created by me. So that this is kind of good practice because not always you can see which resource has been deployed by which user. And this also means that if there are some problems or you need to track down the original creator, then well, you have problems. You have big problems. You basically need to ping all your organization and try to ask, hey, are you using that instance? You needed it some time ago. No? Okay. Maybe you? Okay, no one's using it. I can delete it. And then your CEO comes running to you and says, hey, why did you delete my demo installation? I was just using it to show our application to investors who actually wanted to save our company. Yeah, use tags. Okay. Next, review and create. It's loading. Oh, it's loaded. Just review what we have done. And somewhere at the beginning, closer to middle, I mentioned that we also have ARM templates. So there is this little link that allows us to get a JSON template for our deployment. So for example, next time, if we want to automate all of this, we can download this template and then deploy it in a repeatable way. Really bad thing in this case is that I'm not sure if this will work. Yeah, it doesn't. So if I would click on that button, then whole my configuration would be slightly erased, which I don't want to do currently. Okay, so let's create these few resources. Okay, this will take about 2 minutes. In the meantime, if you have a good DevOps joke, please feel free to share it. So I have presents that I can give to the best joke.
Can you explain about serverless? It is not serverless. It is deployed on server. It's not a joke.
Well,
Why is it called serverless?
it's serverless for me, and that's the person who I care about. So if I don't have to manage all these servers, if I don't have to update them regularly, that's serverless for me. Kind of, yeah, we know that there is some virtual machine or some physical machine under there. But at least for us, the good news is that we don't care. We don't care where it's located. We don't care how it's managed. We know that our code is secure there. We know that this machine is somewhere secure, locked in some not that easy to access data center, and it will constantly get updated. So there kind of shouldn't be any potential security issues. This is basically what defines serverless. So yes, there is a server under there, but we don't care about that server. For us, it's serverless.
So in contemporary terms, old style HTTP servers.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Are now called serverless.
Yes. I think I already mentioned that. That's exactly the current definition, with exception that instead of paying, for example, $99 for 10 gigabytes, you're now paying, I don't know, super fraction of a cent for each time your application is called, for example. In Azure Functions, that really is the case when if your application is not called, you don't pay anything. And I think there was even like a million resource something that was free. So theoretically, it's one of the ways how you can actually get free hosting.
Actually, Azure measurements of serverless is quite funny. It's called gigabyte minutes. So you pay for the amount of memory that you consume for period of time.
No idea. Okay.
Did I bankrupt the company by DDoS in the service?
Sorry?
Did I bankrupt the company
Which company?
that uses Azure?
Probably no. Unfortunately, no. There is DDoS protection. Of course, maybe some developer was careless enough and said, if we need that feature that if our function is being called for too many times, let's just keep it running. Theoretically, maybe. Practically, no. So Azure will probably just shut down your function, and that's it.
I have a joke,
Okay.
but I don't know if it's DevOps. I don't always test my code, but when I do it in production.
Well, that's close enough. So yeah, I promised. I promised a gift for Joe. That's it. Okay. Good news is our resources have been deployed. We have DevOps Unicorn. Yeah, just FYI, DevOps.lv webpage, blog. There are some DevOps jokes as well. Shameless self-promotion. So, we have resources. What's next? Next is that we actually need to return back to... no, I don't want you. So we need to go back to our repository. Let's create a new pipeline. So let's specify Azure repos git, select our repository, and DevOps pipeline has already determined that we have Node.js project there. So we can select the second approach. So free trial, continue. Oh, why? Okay, this is annoying. Okay, signing in. Oh, I can select my web app that I have previously configured. Okay, well, there's a configure. Okay, it's loading. This should be the cloud. Oh, yeah, it's done. And Auto DevOps in action. We have a fully generated YAML file that contains all the needed configuration. So in this case, we have variables that define the Azure subscription, the web app name, and environment. And we have stages. In this case, we have two stages. So the first one is the build stage, where we would just, well, as usual for Node, just build, kind of build that application. Also archive the artifacts via the help of a task. And the next one, deploy stage. Again, pretty much simple, with some conditions that the build stage has succeeded. So only in that case we would be deploying it to our specified environment. And yeah, that's pretty much all. And basically, this was generated automatically. I did not have to do almost any work, and I have a build pipeline. So I think the only thing that comes a little bit close to this is GitLab, that also allows you to create your to do some auto DevOps, but not really sure if that was that good. So yeah, we can just save it. Set up CI with Azure pipelines. Yes, we set up CI. Commit this very professionally directly to the master branch. and our pipeline should start in any minute now, any sec. Yeah, it started. We have an agent, and we can see the progress of it. So code has been checked out from the repository. Node.js has been installed on that agent, so that it actually can build and test this application. And cool, that was kind of fast. Yeah. Next, waiting just for the deploy stage, which is already started. So it will download artifacts. Takes a few moments. Let's hope it will not break. As usually when you do some live demos, everything breaks, even if it's hello world. Okay, it's continuing. Okay, excellent. So as you can see, we had two stages, build and deploy, and apparently they both have succeeded. So the only thing left is to actually check up on our unicorn example application. So once we created that web app, it should have also created a URL that we should be able to access now. So resource groups, yeah. One more. Demo unicorn app service. Oh, URL. Let's open it. So the same DevOps unicorn.azurewebsites.net. Kind of slowish.
Is it possible to use custom domain name?
Not sure, but should be.
Possible, but not in free.
Well, basically, if you want to do, well, I think these web apps, they are also not in free. Not sure, not completely sure. Hmm? Well, yeah. So basically, you can have DevOps pipelines, they're free, but you cannot have deployments. Excellent. Yeah, our application has been deployed and it says hello world. Excellent. And yeah, pretty much you can do the same with other programming languages. So if you're planning on writing some Java application or C#, it's the same. You can use this magical auto devs functionality to create your own pipelines with basically with almost zero work. So of course, typical question will be, well, why the hell do we need an DevOps specialist? Yeah, but okay. So pretty much that's all from kind of Azure DevOps introduction. Hope you had fun with that. So if you still have any questions, then this is the perfect time to ask them. If not, you will also have a chance to ask them later when I'm outside. Yeah.
There's one more section in the left corner. There is like words, repos, pipelines, and there's test plans. Can you briefly explain about that?
Well, I really didn't want to touch this topic because, well, to say it briefly, yeah, test plans, as the name implies, it offers you to create some test plans, how you're going to test something, and then get reports on this. And artifacts, pretty much for simpler projects, they might not be that useful, but this allows you to store, well, this basically allows you to create some proxy repositories and also later on store your some dependencies. Well, nothing special. To put it simply, something like Nexus, if you have used it. So, anyone else?
Yeah. Is there any free hosting available? So deploying web apps is not free.
Yeah, it's not free.
Is there anything free?
Theoretically, it could be possible to deploy Azure functions, theoretically, but again, not really sure about that. And there, so yeah, you kind of have that free tier usage that you get. What was it? Million gigabyte minutes or something like that. That's kind of considered free, but no one actually understands what the hell is that. So that's disputable. But for small applications, it should be free. I know that there are some people who have managed to create their blog and some other sites just on the free tier usage. It's possible.
So there is some monthly limit given.
Yeah, there's a monthly limit. Each service has some monthly limit, and for example, Azure free tier. Once you sign up, you have 170 euros that you can use freely for a year. Basically, you don't need to pay unless you can keep within these costs. So for just some proof of concept solutions for development, that's like super. Okay, so if there are no more questions, then good news. Boring part is over. Steven?
I don't know if the boring part is over or about to start. Hey folks, it's me again. While I step this way and while we swap over microphones and all sorts of other craziness.
Okay, should be unmuted.
I've travelled in just to see you guys today, so about 20 minutes ago, what it feels like in my actual life, I was in London. So this morning London, this evening Riga. You guys are good. I like you guys. Yeah, you do you, and I will. If you can stop sharing, don't think so. I hope not. You might need to stay connected. Actually, sorry, you don't get away that easy. Share screen, PowerPoint. This might work, or it might not. Oh, look at that! It works. If I can just put it into presentation mode. Okay, we're good. I think you can take your machine. We're good. Meh. Leave it plugged in. And I'll put that. Yeah, this magic might happen or not. We'll see. Yeah, this has come up small. Hopefully you guys will be able to see that. For some reason, it's not going into presentation mode. So, as you can see from this evening, one of the important things about this is really practical application of these concepts. So we've got this thing called the hothouse track, and I know we've talked about it a couple of times, but really this is now the beginning. So there's been a couple of education sessions where you guys have heard some stuff. Now you've actually tried some stuff. I actually saw people coding. You've now left me in a point where I'm like, I have no idea what you're doing. It's magic now. I don't know what it is. However, what we really want to do is we want to turn this into a collaborative effort. Okay, so we want to actually try and build some things, try and showcase some things. So some of the things you've seen, talked about, discussed, tried, over the next few weeks and going into January, we would really, really like to see what your imagination can come up with. What problems can these things solve? So what we're really looking to do is to try and get you into some teams. And there is a bit of a clue at the bottom there, best solution wins. So it will be a competition between you and your fellow combatants in this room. However, so that it's a little bit fairer, we would actually like you to get into teams. Now, I'm making a huge sweeping assumption that some of you guys already know each other, yes? There's people, yes, okay. So I can almost guarantee there's some teams that are going to be easier to find than others. So we are here to help you find some teams. And we're going to start sharing some things remotely with you guys. So we're going to share some things like an ability for you to ask us questions, an ability for you to ask us for feedback. Obviously, we've talked about that we're going to share all the slides and content. We're also going to share a bunch of other stuff because you've got access to a number of people that you may not realize you still have access to. So everyone that's spoken to you so far, you will still have access to. Okay, so we'll still be able to ask them questions, and that will continue as we go through. So you'll have this ability to go, okay, you talked about this, but I didn't quite get it until I'm now trying it in an implementation, and now I've got a question. Now I've got a real question. So consider these guys not just speakers, not just trainers, not just fellow developers, but also mentors for you trying this content going forward. So other tools. Personas, yeah, I know. Isn't that like the worst thing ever? However, we want to do something different with this. So we've all seen the Microsoft ones. Now, I grew up working with Microsoft in Redmond. I worked as part of the Visual Studio team. So when you do file, open, new project, you're welcome. That was my stuff. So basically, my code is underneath Visual Studio. So it was all software factories, domain-specific languages, all the ideas around drag and drop. So when I look at Azure DevOps, I'm like, oh, this is what we wanted in 2002. We just took a while to get here. And personas for Microsoft used to be things like, you know, Sally, the soccer mom. And it was something that we used to laugh about. However, what we've realized as we've tried these things again and again is sometimes they're quite useful. You might not have to use something like this, but we're going to make them available to you in case you find it useful. In case you find it useful to think about what somebody's problems really are. We're going to share the templates, but we're also going to share some links to some videos that might explain some of this stuff deeper. So we don't just want to give you guys Azure information. We also want to give you, ways that we've been helping people build better products across the world. So what we're going to try and do on this accessible, I'm going to call it a team site, just because that's going to pressure everyone behind the scenes to make sure it is Microsoft Teams. To share all this, so you can download PowerPoints, you can download PDFs, you can play around with it. However, the actual goal is still to do this. It's still to really, I'll try and zoom in a little bit on this because this might make it easier, is just building code for code's sake is great. It's nice and fun, but actually it's supposed to solve somebody's problem. It's supposed to solve something so it takes some kind of pain away. It's supposed to make life easier. So what we want to do is use some of these to help you guys think about this in a different way. Okay? That's it. Whether you use them or not, it's up to you. If you want to know more, I'm here to help. Genuinely, that's kind of why I'm here, is to help you connect what the problem is that you might want to solve to a person or set of people, so that then you can focus in on what you do best, which is build the best solution possible for that problem. Okay? So because this is in effect a competition against another set of teams, remember that knowledge is inside this room, but there are also some people outside of this room. You are not constrained to finding information from just people here. You can go anywhere. You can Google. I can't say Bing, sorry, it just doesn't work for me. You can Bing. No, it's not going to happen. So you can go Google, you can go talk to other people, you can do whatever it takes to pull that information in. And all we want to see at the end of this, well, several things. One, we'd love for you guys to show how you get fast feedback, how you actually use the people inside this room to make your solution better. Even if it means begging, borrowing, and stealing. There are no rules. If somebody else is doing something that you think, wow, that's cool, steal it. Ask to have, hey, can I get a copy of that? And then just build your solution to be better. So what we're going to try and do, and I know folks have got to go, etc., and I know it's late, but don't worry, we'll catch you. Don't worry, I got you. Is that we want to get people to get into teams. So I don't know if Arthurs has got anything else after me. He nearly escaped then. You haven't, have you? You're done for the evening, yes? Oh.
We still have a few more minutes later on.
Okay, in that case, I can't say. I am the only thing stopping you from that door. Turns out I'm not. But I would like you to spend a few minutes working out who you're going to work with. If that means getting up out of your chairs, because we realized last week that keeping you sat down for 3 hours solid, it's not a good move. We've tried to do this 45 minutes and stand up. I don't know whether that worked any better.
Yep.
Did it? Was that okay? Thank you. See, fast feedback. I like that. So now is a chance to take a stand up, talk to some other people. You may not know what your idea is yet. Somebody else might. But over the next few days, and certainly by the end of this week, we're hoping to have a number of teams. I'm aiming for at least 5 teams of at least 5 people in the team. So a team of 2 is an argument. A team of 3 is 2 people picking on 1 person. So try and make it teams of 5 or above, okay? But don't make it a team of 38 people, because that's just chaotic. So spend a few minutes. I'm going to shut up. You guys are going to try and work out. Question?
We're done.
You're done. You have a team.
Yes.
There's always one. I'm glad it was you. Perfect. Everyone else, honestly, you can get out of your seats. I will stand here and make you feel uncomfortable. So please take a few minutes. At the end of this week, Microsoft will be checking in with you, giving you a Teams area and checking in with who's on what team. If you really want, you can play along. You can think of a team name. If you want to play along even more, you can think of a team logo. All up to you. Okay? But I'm going to shut up. I'm going to leave you to it. You've got till 45, till 7:45 to assign yourself a team. Okay? Questions? We good? One question.
Best team wins, right?
Best team wins.
Wins what?
Oh, I was hoping no one was going to ask me that one. Something better than these. But because that was the best question, you get one of these to at least say, we have to do something better than this. So thank you very much for that question. And we're now trying to get rid of the bags. That is a very good question. My colleagues over to the left of me are now panicking because I've started the tough question. Okay. Good question. So on the website, we've actually listed the criteria for how they'll be judged, okay? I didn't want to bore you with slides upon slides, so we've put it up on the website. So we'll make it abundantly clear. It's really simple. It's like, have you solved a problem for a person? Is your solution compelling? So it's basic stuff. It's nothing rocket science. We're not expecting you to, prove something that no one else has ever done before, but it is solving basic problems for people. It's having a compelling reason to exist. Okay? Sorry? Some examples. Colleagues, example applications. Okay, so IoT, using the cloud and IoT is one. Any others?
Maybe also service, some kind of, okay, we all know that ss.lv, maybe you can think of some other approaches that kind of think about what are your current problems, what are your pain points, how can you solve them?
It's maybe not about your professional life, but it could be also your personal issue. Not issue, it could be your personal kind of challenges or like things that you are doing manually, but you are thinking that it could be done also some other way.
And if you're all from a same organization, maybe it's a compelling reason that your organization should move to Azure. Maybe that's, it can be, there are so many things that it could be. I was thinking about this actually on the flight over earlier. I was like, okay, how are we going to nail it down to one or two things without it being, oh, you're only going to go build those things? If you're unsure, you have a group of us that you can come ask, okay? We're not going anywhere, but we're also going to make sure you can access us when we're not all in this room, okay? Okay, you have 4 minutes left.
And as Steve said, now we're building teams, so you're not pressed and pushed to discover problems to solve, but build team first.
Yeah, so think about the team first. Get together with a group of people. If you don't know them, it's now time to introduce yourselves to some new folks. As me, it's my worst nightmare. But hopefully you're not me, so have fun. If not, just go see if there's any food at the back of the room, and hopefully, like every good party, you'll find people in the kitchen.
Okay, so excellent. I hope every team has gotten their promo code. So basically, task for today, task for this week. You'll need to set up your Azure account that your team will be using. The team leader, the designated driver, will also need to set up all the users that this account will be using. Yeah, sorry. And later on, you'll also need to set up the initial repository, kind of practice. Probably also need to figure out what language, what tools you'll be using for your application or your kind of solution. And we can also set up the initial build pipeline. So, yeah, with that, the presentations are done. You still have time to discuss. You still have time to brainstorm your ideas. So, if you still have problems with figuring out what you can actually build, develop, feel free to approach us. Feel free to ping us somewhere. Yeah, well, basically a little bit later on, you'll also receive access to Microsoft Teams, especially for these workshops. and yeah, all of us will be using that, and you'll have basically direct access to all of us. Yeah, slides for this presentation are available pretty simply. Just go a.us/Azure that underscore whatever what it's called DevOps, and also some reference materials that you might use are also within these presentations. So yeah, I guess that's all from my side. Thank you, and really hope that you'll have fun developing your ideas, and maybe we'll have the next Skype here. So yeah, thanks and good luck.